morning, everybody, and thank you, Sally, for the fun and games. Now to the serious bit. And from me, a very warm welcome to the County Councils Network Annual Conference 2015 here in Guildford, and indeed, endorsing Sally's comments, enormous thanks to Surrey County Council for hosting this conference, and particularly to our sponsors who have given very generously to help make this conference such a great success, and indeed thanks to all the speakers that we'll be hearing from during the course of the next day and a half. It really is a very great privilege to be the new chairman of this respected and successful cross-party organisation that represents 37 of the most significant authorities across England. It could not be a more exciting and challenging time to be your chairman against the constant challenges that we face, particularly ongoing having to continue to deliver more with less pounds, shillings and pence. But on the optimistic side, the opportunity that the devolution agenda for England brings to us in local government, the opportunity to influence and shape public sector reforms in our counties and have greater control over our destiny than ever before. What's good enough for Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland is certainly good enough for England's counties and great cities. One of the immediate aims of the County Council Network must be to do our very best to help central government better understand the impact and consequences of their fiscal and legislative policies, particularly in the last few days leading up to this crucial date of 25th of November with the spending review. We all became involved in local government to improve the efficient and effective delivery of public services in our counties, to help and support our residents and businesses. Our councils have a proud track record over the last 20 years to spend public money efficiently and effectively. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again today. In my view, the leadership and management across the county councils of England has never been so strong and competent. And as Greg Clark said in his recent address at the LGA conference, it reinforces my view that central government has more to learn from local government than vice versa. And that view will characterise my approach to working with you all. And we very much look forward to hearing from Greg later this afternoon. In recent years, the County Council Network has built significant momentum and trust that has put its member councils at the heart of the debate on the future of local government, and more broadly, the transformation of public service delivery. And I am sure we would all like to thank David Hodge, our previous chairman, for all his hard work and endeavours in building this substantive momentum. David, very well done. The County Council Network has a very small, hard-working, dedicated team at Local Government House that punches well above its weight, just 5 staff. And we are all enormously indebted to this small team, and I'm sure that you would like to join me in giving them a very large thank you. And if I could invite the 5 staff at CCN to make themselves known. Lisa Gray, Elizabeth Hunter-Gray, Michael Chard, James Maker, and our director, Simon Edwards. Very well done to you all. In the last year, their work has been prodigious, with the production of many excellent documents that have all hit the right spot and delivered many successful outcomes. Good examples would be the work of CCN's influential CARE Act implementation group. The team's detailed research and consultation responses led to increased funding to County Council members on a needs-led basis for the early stages of the implementation of the CARE Act. And much of that money came out of London to the counties for the early assessment work on the CARE Act. And significantly, our county APPG report, The State of Care in Counties. which highlighted the unique challenges and barriers of delivering social care to our counties and the huge disparities in funding between counties and our other urban counterparts, with relative needs funding for social care 3 times lower than the price paid in inner London. Extraordinary differentials. The report's core recommendation on health and social care devolution deals is now a core narrative of the government's policy, something that we should be proud of. And our groundbreaking study with Lang Buisson into county care markets. Not only did this contribute to the delay in the next phase of the Care Act, it has fundamentally changed the national conversation on social care funding, placing a major focus on the brittle state of the care market. And let us not forget that a year ago, cities dominated the devolution narrative with little consideration of the opportunities devolution could bring to the 25 million residents in county areas, some 48% of England's population. Now, a year on, things have moved forward, and we can now say that our first county devolution deals in Cornwall, Durham and Northumberland. We have a renamed devolution bill, the Cities and Local Government Bill, and 22 of the 38 devolution proposals presented to government involved counties. And it is CCN's campaigning through our plan for government and county devolution reports that has helped put county devolution firmly on the map. However, our counties in England are entering a critical period. In just 8 days' time, on the 25th of November, the Chancellor will set out his full spending plans for this Parliament, including, of course, local government expenditure. We already know that DCLG's budget will be cut by 30%, but the full extent of the fiscal pain coming our way is yet to be revealed. Over the past 5 years, counties have delivered everything that has been asked of them and delivered extraordinary efficiencies and savings, not matched by any other part of the public sector. We have broadly protected and improved frontline services, invested in growth, innovated and transformed local government services, and unlike much of the public sector, delivered balanced budgets year on year. This is despite the fact that we have endured revenue support grant from central government being reduced by some 40% in real terms, and have had new unfunded or part-funded responsibilities thrust upon us, such as the growth in concessionary fares budgets as our ageing population grows, unrelenting demand-led pressures across children's services. Children subject to child protection plans are now up 54% in counties, and alongside something that gets much forgotten, school transport costs that continue to escalate as school rolls rise and are not within the dedicated schools grant. And in adult social care, the ticking time bomb of an ageing population has a shorter fuse with counties already having almost double the percentage of over 65-year-olds compared to London. And by 2020, the average county authority is projected to see a 10.6% increase in its older adult population, some 36% higher than the average metropolitan borough. And tough new inspection regimes for schools and social care, placing new cost burdens on upper-tier authorities. Despite the impact of all of these significant issues, we have delivered all that has been asked of us. But can counties really be expected to deliver more of the same over the next 5 years? I very much support the Chancellor's endeavours to ensure that as a country we must live within our means. However, public sector funding cuts should be fair and proportionate and reflect needs and demands. We have advocated for counties and put our case forward in recent meetings with both Greg Clark and Jeremy Hunt, and I believe that they empathise with us, but does the Treasury? In recent months, the County Council Network have done our very best to lobby and help ministers, MPs and civil servants in Westminster better understand the difficult decisions we will potentially have to make over the coming years and get them to realise that, importantly, our budget tank is now running on reserve and the engine is very close to stalling. Faced with substantial further reductions in grants, council tax restrictions and inflationary costs and wage pressures, we face a 2.6 billion black hole in our finances before we add in increasing demand for our services and the consequences of the implementation of the living wage. We don't expect a thank you, but the facts are the facts. Endorsed a year ago by the National Audit Office in its report on the sustainability of local government, the Commons Public Accounts Committee, the Local Government Association, the London School of Economics, and, of course, the bravery of our esteemed leader in Oxfordshire through Lettergate. And Ian's detailed response that laid out these facts to government. Let's hope that our spending review evidence submitted to the Treasury and advocacy across Whitehall pays off on the 25th of November and that our messages have hit home. There is a real danger of collapse in social care markets, of reducing our investment in social care enablement and preventative services, which successfully help to reduce admissions and support timely hospital discharge. Health and social care funding is inextricably linked to health funding. Substantial funding reductions will lead to the withdrawal from many of the non-statutory services that are so highly valued by our residents and businesses. And this must be avoided, given that the majority of our budgets support a small minority of our populations. Despite all these financial challenges, we should not lose sight of the big opportunities the devolution agenda presents to us, both bespoke devolution deals invited through the Cities and Local Government Devolution Bill and what I call generic devolution through the recent announcement from the Chancellor on the business rate retention by the end of this Parliament. However, as we set out on the road which will inevitably lead to the reform of local government finances, great thought and careful consideration must be taken if we are to deliver our joint aims. I believe that there are three critical issues we must focus on in the coming months and years. The reforms must deliver sensible baseline financial stability for counties with fairness and equity across the country and within tiers of local government. This should involve a full needs-led review before baselines are set. Many of our recent publications have highlighted the massive funding anomalies in the current system, which are to the massive detriment of fair funding to county council budgets. Allowing London councils to have council tax rates a third lower than county areas can and must not continue. With evolving policy suggesting that local authorities will have devolved by 2020 some additional £12 billion of business rates in return for accepting additional responsibilities, it is essential that we engage in serious discussions about the scope of these responsibilities and functions and make sure that funding is appropriate to the new responsibilities coming our way and that we are not shortchanged. Generally, I feel that we very much welcome the opportunity for taking on additional responsibilities from Whitehall. It's what we have always asked for, and it is what government is starting to deliver. And the final third point, that government must free up councils. It should not restrict additional business rate levies to help fund infrastructure, making them conditional on directly elected mayors. In addition, we need a wider set of fiscal freedoms, including increased borrowing capacity, greater control over EU funding, and most importantly, the freedom to set our own council tax levels. And finally, to the other half of the devolution equation, bespoke devolution. The September the 4th submissions have been much publicised and discussed, and others will follow. The opportunity for bespoke devolution deals to deliver substantive change with reach and influence, freedoms and flexibilities on how the totality of public expenditure is expended within our areas, is an exciting opportunity and has enormous potential to change and transform the efficient delivery of public services. Common themes have been health and social care integration, skills welfare reform, spatial planning, infrastructure delivery, all designed to support and accelerate growth, and very much in line with CCN's concept of one place, one budget. County governance has led the way in showing the rest of the public sector how to deliver change and has been modernising and transforming service delivery over many years through successful partnership delivery. The great success of the Troubled Families programme, counties producing the very best outcomes in the country, the success of local area agreements of old, and more recently, the effective use in partnership with health through the delivery of the Better Care Fund are just examples of many successful public sector partnerships. However, despite this track record, I still remain concerned over a one-size-fits-all approach to county government. What may work for metropolitan cities and authorities is a very different kettle of fish to two-tier counties and districts. While a few counties will take the decision for their local areas and agree to a directly elected mayor, this model is unpopular with the vast majority of counties and I believe will not work in practice. The government must be open to devolving alternative models that allow all areas to agree truly transformative devolution deals, including, and importantly, robust and accountable combined authorities. Let's hope that we can take forward the devolution agenda in county areas with government agreeing on appropriate, flexible governance arrangements tailored to our local needs. And I finish where I started. An enormous and exciting, challenging time ahead. It is up to us all as a collective to work together, to be constructive and innovative in helping government to shape and deliver an empowered network of counties that supports the delivery of modernised and improved public services in our areas, makes the public pound go still further as we continue to improve the outcomes for the residents and businesses we all represent. Thank you.